I've been discovering it the hard way. Effort has always been a prominent issue for me. And I fear it may be catching up to me soon, if not already. Throughout my life, I've always tried to shortcut a lot of things. I've tried doing half and letting my partner do the other half, which I know sounds fair, but I've always, what I mean is, I've always tried to done the least amount of work possible. And what I'm saying is, for that half, I do all the questions that don't require deep research, really, while my partner does the questions that actually require you to use your brain to answer. And I feel like my brain has not been very active these days. I just watched a video on metacognition. And what metacognition is it is the state of being aware of your thoughts. Now, metacognition is a very intriguing idea. It requires you to... An example of ordinary recognition would be, oh, I'm struggling on this topic, right? But metacognition is knowing why you're struggling on this topic and how to fix it. During tennis practice, I feel like these past few weeks, months even, I've been lying to myself. I feel like I've been swindling my own, how do I say this? Feelings about this. I play tennis. And as you know, tennis is a solo sport. Besides your coach or your parents, you have virtually nobody to guide your hand against. It is an extremely mental game. But I'm not talking about matches. I'm talking about practice. And my mouth says that I've been trying my hardest every practice, but my heart nor my brain agrees. The only way you can uncap your limit is if you train to your limit every time, right? And once you hit that limit, you go further. You go until you can't go anymore. And that's when you truly start to grow. That's when you truly start to step out of your comfort zone and reach a further zone, right? It's like building muscles. If you lift 1 pound weights, obviously you're not going to gain any muscle, right? But if you lift close to what your maximum lift potential is, if you keep on doing that repetitively over and over again, that's how you gain strength, right? And what I feel like these past few weeks is, I feel like I could be lifting 20-pound weights, but I'm lifting 10 pounds instead. And I'm improving, just not quick enough. Just nowhere near quick enough. All the motivation in the world does not help me if I can't just execute a single time. The seed is planted in my head, in my brain, but I need water to grow it. I need something to water it every day. And I can't remember the last time I've actually tried my absolute hardest in practice. I think it was 3 months ago when I beat one of my really good friends in practice. So in this case, I've essentially been watering this seed once every 3 months, which is why it's growing nonetheless, but it's not growing how exactly you'd hope it to be, right? And time is limited. I do not have infinite time. We do not have infinite time. So in the end, it's all about how you make use of it, right? I feel so bad for my mom. I feel so terrible. I tell her I try my best, but even I know it myself. I'm not. I'm really not. And same thing goes for school, right? If you don't have straight A's, this creates a very apparent problem. If you're trying your best and you can't get straight A's, then something is definitely very wrong with your skill cap. And if you say you're not trying your best, if you're saying you have these grades because you're not trying your best, then why the hell are you not, right? So I've been discovering the hard way that all shortcuts eventually lead to dead ends. There's only one way through it. You have to study. I only study every once in a while, and when I do, it's usually an all-nighter or it's for 5 hours-ish, but the problem with that is it's usually 2 days, if not the day before the test. And my brain is not capable of retaining all that info if I cram it all into one session, right? You have to lift 20-pound weights enough times in order to be able to lift, say, a 30-pound weight, right? assuming you can. And I feel like I've just been trying to lift this 30-pound weight without even lifting the 20s first. I don't remember 99% of the reels I watch. I probably only remember one every 100 reels. And that's hours down the drain. That is an ungodly amount of hours down the drain. Right? I'm a tennis player. Sports take up an extremely long amount of my time. Extremely big portion of my time. So I have to learn how to manage it well. And yet, when I come home every day at 6:30 p.m., I'm mentally tired from practice. Right? Practice that I haven't even tried my hardest in. I eat dinner and I just relax. I relax until 8-ish. Then I think, oh, my homework only takes an hour, right? I can wait till 9 and I can just sleep at 10 and get 9-10 hours of sleep, right? So I relax for another hour. I relax until 9. And I think, oh, it's only 9, right? 10 isn't even the usual time that I sleep, right? I sleep at 11:30-ish. So that means I have a whole hour to do whatever I want. And this is when I pull out my homework, but I still continue to watch YouTube. I still continue to... I refresh that Instagram tab every 5 minutes, hoping someone sends me a new message, or maybe something pops up on my feed. I start at 9 p.m. 10 minutes pass, and it's 10:30. Okay, fine. I guess I'll start. Wait, no, it's fine, right? Because I can just wake up at 6:30 the next morning. I can just wake up at 6:30 and then finish at 7:30, right? And sometimes I work on it at 10, sometimes I work on it at 6:30. Then I think, oh hey, this is after third period. I can do this during read. I can finish this during read. And most of the times I end up finishing my homework during read or in the early morning. So you see the problem here. You see the big problem here. My mental capacity is unfathomably low. It's almost the end of the year and the school year, and I think there's no other way to do it, right? No matter how tired I am after I finish my dinner, oh my god. Now that's the thing. Homework. All this time I've spent is only for homework. I've completely forgot to account reading, which I have not read a book since, oh my god, since 7th grade, 6th grade. Wow. Nor study until the day before. I have to study at least an hour for the important subjects, math, science, every day, right? For any upcoming tests a week before the test, right? And yeah, I do not do that. I put in 20% effort expecting 90% back. I told myself 10th grade is the year. I'm going to do it next year. And what I fear is I know that I have to do this, right? I know I have the motivation right now. And yeah, I am still aware that there's a chance. I don't know whether high or low, depending on how much I change, that I will not live up to my word. I will not keep my promise. Until I started thinking about college. I want to surround myself with good people, right? Surround myself with friends who lift me higher. Friends who will be my stepping stones as I climb my way to the top. And along the way, once I climb one step of the ladder, I reach my hand down and help pull my friend up with me, right? I want to grow with my friends, as well as in college, right? I want to get into a good college. I want to get into a good job. I want to go on vacation. I want to live a good life. I've always wondered what it was like being homeless. It was not a good train of thought. And I realized that my sophomore and my junior year are my two most important years of my life, probably, because this essentially determines which college I get into, where I go, and my college as well determines my job. So now I realize it. Sophomore and junior year are the most important years of my academic life. I don't know about life, but I will say academic life. So how do I execute it? How do I water my seed every day? How do I lift my 20-pound weights? I'm not sure. I'm thinking myself. Maybe I need good friends who are motivated to study, so then I want to study with them, right? I want friends who will aspire to reach as high as they can, so I will want to be there with them, right? And I can't cut any corners because they all lead to dead ends. Right, you can't truly love something you've never suffered for. I need to put in the work. Next year I will. I swear on my life I will. I will make sure my seed blooms into a beautiful flower, and that flower will attract all of the butterflies. It's a niche reference. If you chase butterflies, they'll fly away. But if you create your own garden, the butterflies will come to you. And if they don't, you still have a beautiful garden. My garden will be legendary. Or who knows, maybe my seed is a late bloomer. Maybe I'll bloom over the summer, and I'll recognize and I will have the fuel to actually execute and work hard for these results. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, peace out, guys.